Welcome to another episode of the Palace Huddle Podcast. Here are your hosts, Rob Schwartz and Justin Onayemi, two Bears fans who decided talking into a microphone was better than shouting at their television.
Welcome in, Palace Huddlers. Gonna bring in Justin. What's up?
Huddle up. I was gonna say I'm not there to huddle up, so
yeah, no. We're not huddling.
Tuesday edition.
Yeah, we're not huddling up on this one. It's a no huddle episode, right? This would be a shorter one.
Fair enough. Yeah, somewhat live reaction to the first episode of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, it was good. I actually missed the first 3 minutes of the episode. I could not get logged in, and it was not allowing me to watch it live on the app. So I ended up logging into Xfinity Stream, and it was having an issue. You know how when we were trying to do our thing earlier, and it was connecting to YouTube, and that was how you signed in. Well, with Xfinity, I had to sign in through the Xfinity app, and that wasn't working. So real frustrating, but missed the first few minutes of this episode. I missed the car, so you have to tell me about the car. I heard about it on social media. You'll have to describe it to me if you saw it.
But it didn't stand out to me, but that's all right.
Okay. All right. Well, again, so this is a no huddle episode, so there will not be an episode number, anything like that. We're going to do this every week. We are going to live stream at 9:30 after the episode ends, and just dive in. If you are a fan of the Chicago Bears, if you are excited about the Bears being on Hard Knocks, please hit that subscribe button. We have some big things coming up, hopefully for the show in the next few weeks. An exciting, hopefully, announcement. That's just a little teaser. You'll find out more later.
Sounds great.
But for now, let's dive in. I got a little intro here for us for the episode, or it'll be for every episode probably. But here we go. Sitcom feel to it.
Yeah, that was me on the saxophone. So
nice. So that was just a little intro here, so we could get ourselves excited. Not that we weren't already, but
so you didn't see the first 3 minutes, is what you're telling me?
I did not. So if you can tell me what happened in the first 3 minutes, I will go back and watch it. Obviously,
right. Well. So a lot of Caleb Williams, I would say, on the episode. And right off the bat, it takes you back to April 25th, the draft, announcing Caleb Williams. And in essence, announcing a new Bears era. From there, and I don't know exactly where you picked up, but from there, I think they did a good job of kind of showing and storytelling that, even as much hype as he has, as much talent as he has, he's going to have some ups and downs as a rookie. And they showed some of his bad moments. But as soon as those moments are happening, there's coaches in his ear. There's him talking it out with people, figuring out what the mistake was. And, from what I'm hearing in camp, that's something that has impressed the coaches and the team with Caleb Williams is that if there's a mistake, he's going to do what he has to do to get past it, move past it, and learn from it. And so that's kind of what I would say the beginning was. Very Caleb Williams heavy, but he's the quarterback, and that should be the key player on your team. Now, they showed a little bit of the old legends of the Bears and everything like that, but let's be real honest. In today's NFL, it goes through the quarterback. And if the Bears are going to have any chance this year and in the years to come, I think it's going to be with Caleb Williams, proving to be quite a talented player at quarterback. So that was kind of the beginning of the episode.
I'm guessing there wasn't a lot of quarterback highlights then from those old school Bears. Maybe some McMahon. I mean, did they throw in some Sid Luckman in there?
Knocking some quarterbacks on their butt, but not Bears quarterbacks. So
yeah, so I did see the part which was kind of cool. I think what was kind of interesting is that they talked. They kept playing clips of different people and talking about the hype and the expectations of Caleb Williams before they showed anything else, like in training camp. Right, I did see that part. They played the Bulls intro music, which was kind of cool. Kind of referred to him as Michael Jordan.
I thought that part was stupid as hell.
Oh, I loved it. I'm glad that we have a different opinion because I thought
that was the worst part of the whole thing.
I mean, if you think about it, like the 90s in Chicago were something that, and I know you experienced it, was like an unbelievable time in Chicago sports history. And that noise, that sound that kicks off, it just brings me back. And I would love to see the Chicago Bears kind of put themselves into that same scenario. We have 1985 Bears. We have the Super Bowl shuffle. I get it, but that's like a one-year wonder type thing. Like, I want to see something like actually built and continue to grow.
Yes, but comparing Caleb Williams to Michael Jordan is a mistake. I mean, for many reasons. I mean, Michael Jordan might be the greatest basketball player of all time, but basketball is a very different sport than football, where one guy can just come and take over a franchise, take over a team, take over a city. Now, quarterback is the key position, and if Caleb Williams is a very, very strong quarterback, he will get that in the city of Chicago, the comparisons and things. But to just put that out there right away, I just thought that was I
didn't take it as
funny, like they're but also stupid. I don't know.
I didn't take it as they think he's going to be Michael Jordan.
They literally said it. They said he could be, I forget exactly how they phrased this.
I said something along the lines of he could be the greatest athlete in Chicago history since Michael Jordan. And I do think he could be that popular if he succeeds. We have never seen a successful quarterback in Chicago. We haven't. So we don't know what that's going to look like. Mike Ditka, who isn't that great of an NFL coach, let's be honest, he's not, is still one of like the most coveted sports figures in Chicago history.
Well, they did make Eberflus look quite cool in this episode, talking about his style and things like that. I have a few things I want to say about a little bit more about Eberflus, but
okay. Before we get to that, because I wanted to touch base going off of the Chicago Bulls intro and like talking about all the hype and the expectations, and then it went to that part where you were talking about where he was struggling, right? He was struggling. I loved that they played Ordinary People in the background. It was just made me crack up.
Well,
like it's not like a music
he was trying to sing it. You probably missed that then.
What?
So rookies have to get up in front of all the team.
No, I didn't. I saw that. That was the first part I saw.
He tried to sing Ordinary People and only got through the first like 2 words. And
they booed him off stage, throwing paper at him. That
We'll come back to rookie performances later on that karaoke.
Yes. So
wait, I thought where you were going though is the connection between Eberflus and Nick Saban.
Okay. Yep. I saw that too.
So he brought him in to talk to the players, and then they had their own private meeting. They showed clips of Eberflus back in Toledo.
Yep.
Did you see that? Huge shoulder pads. It looked like he took all our mom's shoulder pads from the 80s and was wearing them. Because he was wearing huge shoulder pads. But it was funny. He's like, you weren't the skill player. You were just out there hitting people. And kind of brought that mentality to how he coaches, too, with the hits principle and things like that. I think last year when Brisker had his like 20 tackle game or something.
Yeah.
Remember it was 18 or 20 or something like that. I think Eberflus said something like it's still too short of a game he had at Toledo.
Yeah, I do recall that as well. I couldn't remember how many, but yeah, it was close. I like the fact that Matt Eberflus is like not content on just being like, hey, this is how I'm going to coach. This is like he went out and I know Saban doesn't have NFL success, but he's still one of the best college coaches out there, right? So to go to him and get that like extra information, maybe it will help you become a better coach. The fact that they talked about like standing behind, like I love to stand behind the quarterback, and then you see Eberflus like standing behind the quarterback, and he wants to see what Caleb Williams is seeing, and you see a bad play, and he wants to see, like, okay, here's what you did wrong, and here what were you seeing, and oh, you missed Rome, like going down the side.
So something we've talked about here and there, and I know it was in one of your solo episodes where you somewhat were ranting, but
that's a shocker.
Yeah. So Eberflus is notably a defensive coach. He was a defensive coordinator. But the episode showed a lot of him one-on-one with Caleb, coaching him up. And that's not to say Waldron's not in his ear just as much. But I did like that. And I think it shows again how important Williams' success is for everyone. I mean, Eberflus, Poles, the entire franchise does rest on this being a success. And so I did kind of find that interesting that, last year he actually was the defensive coordinator of the team as the head coach. But, to see him just literally standing right behind Caleb, seeing what he sees, and then coaching him up in those moments, as opposed to going over and talking to the corner who may have, missed coverage or something like that.
Right.
So I did think that was kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, and they're focused on developing, right? Like, we haven't seen that here. People want to say, well, they didn't do it with Justin Fields. I get it. Their plan was never to develop him when they got here. Ryan Poles wanted to strip this down and turn this around. And they were hoping, year 2, maybe that development could start a little bit. They went out and got DJ Moore, right? They tried with Chase Claypool. It just didn't work. And you're kind of hearing some things too that, maybe Justin Fields wasn't as coachable as we all thought, right? I mean, we're seeing it now in Pittsburgh a little bit, but I want to see it on the field during the season and not just, I will say, I think Luke Getsy was still a bigger problem with that whole thing. And I do think that's part of it too, is I think we have Shane Waldron, who's got proven track record. So that's probably helping Eberflus also in that regard. I loved the way that they were going in that whole situation. I marked that down as something to talk about, was just the development standpoint, what they seem to be doing with him, the focus on, the fundamentals. Like, there was one where he's like, talking about how, oh, well, you didn't step, you threw off your back foot on that. You got to put step forward. You remember when you threw those other 2 and it was just boom, it was fired. Right. So like, he's definitely doing more than just being a defensive coordinator, like you said.
Yeah. So his style, his wife, liked the beard and whatnot. And then they show him in the barber that's at the facility. Yeah. And I'm like, does he have to pay for that cut, or is that one of the perks? I mean,
I'm guessing you tip, and that's probably about it.
Wow. It must be nice. I mean,
right?
I don't know. Did everyone get to use that barber?
I know that they do a lot there. Yeah. Yeah.
That was cool. I got one more like Eberflus thing, but it's kind of not an Eberflus thing. I feel like his daughter, she sounds like she could be a defensive coordinator. You might have missed that, actually. Like, there was a pickup game at their house.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Oh, my gosh. You got to go back and watch.
Okay.
There's like a pickup game at their house. And I'm talking, these are like probably 8-year-olds playing.
Yeah.
And the kid's holding the ball, and there's nobody, like no rusher. And she comments on it. She's like, there's no pressure. But there's like 8-year-old kids just playing in the yard. But it was funny to hear her say that. And then they showed, I guess, I don't know if he has 2 daughters. He has at least 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And the wife.
Later in the episode, you see him in the stands with their mom, right?
Exactly. And, locked in on what was happening and saying, we don't want to give away too much here. We got to play these guys in week 2, which is something we've talked about,
So what I did find,
go ahead.
Something I found interesting, and I don't know the background of Matt Eberflus's daughter, so I don't know like if I'm just speaking out of line here, but I thought it was a little bit funny the way that the mom was talking about Tyson Bagent's hair. And it almost felt like she was like, hey, go. Maybe you and Tyson Bagent. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I got. Like, mom was trying to play, matchmaker there.
I don't know about that, but no, I thought
they could be married. I have no idea.
No, but they were locked in. It seems like spirits are high. I think everyone's feeling good about where the Bears are at and where things are going. Now, come week 1, week 12, wherever they're at record-wise, that could totally change. But it does feel like it's a different kind of vibe. And, Eberflus has the new look. And so it's kind of like, let's just be a new team. Let's have a new direction. And I meant to say this on the episode we did about DJ Moore's contract, but it came up again in Hard Knocks, watching the behind the scenes of Poles and Kevin Warren and everyone going over it and saying, wow, this is really good for everybody. This is good for DJ. This is good for us. I really do feel like extending him is like the exclamation point on the trade. And we all know the trade I'm talking about. This is going to be going down in the history books as one of the most lopsided trades you ever could find, probably in any sport, but certainly in football, where they traded that number 1 to Carolina. Carolina, we know, took Bryce Young. One season isn't enough to say, who he is as a player. But to get DJ Moore, the pick that ends up being Caleb Williams, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, and whoever they pick second round next year, that's just incredible. And so then not only did DJ Moore ball out when he got here, but you extend him, and he's going to be a key part of whatever they're doing moving forward, which we hope is, playoffs and championships, some things we don't talk about as Chicago Bears fans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool how they pulled him off, like, the side, too, like, just kind of like behind, like, hey, be discreet. Like, we don't want to draw too much attention to it. And then they let him break the news to the teammates, which was kind of cool, right? I couldn't tell. Like, Keenan seemed really happy for him. At the same time, I'm wondering, like, where's my money? I don't know.
They're in different situations for sure, and they know that.
Very different.
And I don't know if you ever got to hear Moore's press conference, but I know this is Hard Knocks, but in the press conference, they asked him, because Moore started talking about, hey, we got DeAndre Swift here, we got Komet, we got me, we got all these people locked up. Rome's here for 5 years. Boom, boom, boom. And they kind of said, well, what about Keenan? And apparently DJ Moore's like, I'm already talking to him about it.
Yeah.
Like, let me know what your number is. And he said his number. He didn't tell us what it was, but he said, I think we can get that done. I said, well, I don't know if DJ Moore is also a capologist, but
you got to think, though, he did leave some of it on the table, right? So there's some room. Kind of reminds me of when Tariq Cohen signed his deal, when he said that he was leaving room for, I don't remember who it was. He left room for somebody, and I don't think they actually got signed, though.
Now he wants that money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unpopular opinion to say, prior to the season even starting, but to me, the best case scenario is Rome Odunze really, really pops this year, and you have a 1-2 punch with him and DJ Moore. And of course, people are going to want to come play here if that's what's happening. And so, because I know Allen's number is not going to be a low number, and he's 32, has had some injuries. We'll see. I mean, I think it's great they have him now. I hope he performs very well on the field. Already, I do hear that he's making an impact in terms of the development of Caleb Williams and of Rome Odunze. So he's had value in that regard, even if he doesn't re-sign.
There was one catch, and it wasn't like it was a great catch, but do you remember? I think it was Mike Lombardi was doing the nonsense with Mitch Trubisky about throwing it through a keyhole. I actually tweeted this out, but there was a throw by Caleb Williams where he just threaded it, and it wasn't even like a far throw. I think it was only like 10, 12 yards max, but he put it where only Keenan Allen could catch it. And I tweeted it out. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams just threw it through a keyhole.
He's got the talent. Oh, there are a couple of them. Like, you just watch that ball spin. And, it was interesting when Eberflus is talking to D'Amico Ryans before the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans is kind of like looking over his shoulder and watching Williams warm up. And he's like, is he going to spin it tonight? Like, no, coach, you're not going to get to see anything until week
He got
2.
a little bit of excitement there.
You're not going to see anything until week 2. So,
yeah, no, it was real vanilla. But talking real quick, I'm not going to go much longer, but there's 2 undrafted rookies that kind of got some bad situation, some bad mojo in this episode. You kind of hinted at going back to the rookie performances as for one, right? But the other one before we go back to him was oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Austin Reed, right? Their fourth quarterback that's on the roster, most likely not making the team, right? I don't think anyone thinks he's going to, but didn't even get a chance to really showcase anything because the game got delayed and then suspended, right? So that was a little bit disappointing on that end. I don't know how much more action he's going to see in the preseason. I think it'll depend on how much action Caleb Williams sees. So I feel a little bit bad for him and his family who traveled from California and they only got to see him throw the ball a couple times. But the really bad situation, and again, a guy I don't know if he was actually going to make the team, but I'll let you talk about his performance.
Oh, he gets up there to sing. He's from Canada.
Yeah.
And I was literally typing a note. I said, why is Theo Benedet got to take his shirt off to sing?
Right.
And I wrote, wish it was just the shirt. He rips off the pants. He's wearing a Speedo with an eagle on it or something. So now he's a Canadian Eagle. But when he slipped in that game,
yeah,
I was worried he tore his groin. And I'm thinking, is he wearing that he's still wearing it instead of a jock strap? What's going on? But then they went back and said it was a hamstring, but
it was a grade 2 strain, and they said he's basically going to be out for all of
where
camp.
he is in the roster. That's probably going to be it. I mean, I don't know, practice squad, that type of thing, but
right.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It just shows how quickly these things can come and go. He got up there just like Caleb Williams, your name, where you're from, and your signing bonus. Caleb Williams said 25.5 million.
Yep.
And agent was doing the
yeah, I'm a seizure.
Like he got he bundled it up with was it Allstate?
Yeah.
Or no, is that what it was?
I think so. Isn't Allstate the one? Yeah.
Not if you bundle them and then you start shaking. That's what Bajan looked like. But the other guy, $20,000.
$20,000.
So I mean, you get injured, you don't make the squad, and that's your cup of coffee in the NFL for some people.
Right.
I have a personal thing. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I saw somebody I know in the thing. He's a police officer, so I guess he's working as security for the team or something. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, let me get that autograph now. Hard Knocks famous. So.
Yeah. So is he working for them or is he working for Hard Knocks?
I think the Bears.
Okay.
But I didn't verify that with him.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to make that connection because I know somebody who has a connection that does, I don't want to give away his source, but does some things that you wouldn't think would be able to get you information. He does for the Chicago Bears, and he gets some serious information. So,
okay. Hallis Huddle is going to be breaking some stories this year, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want, I know let's maybe go 2 more minutes or so. I think there's one more thing that they did show quite a lot. I don't know how you want to talk about it or if you want to talk about it, but
since we're doing personal things, though, I do have to shout out Brendan Shagru, who got on there when they were doing the beard stuff. He was one of the tweets that came up there. He's going places. He's been on the NBC. Oh gosh, what's the after show that they do?
Sunday.
Oh gosh, I can't think of the name of the show. But he's been on there twice. He's
Night
going
in America or something, or in Chicago or something.
No, I think it's just NBC Chicago's NBC Sports. I'll look it up. I'll figure it out while you go into the next thing you were going to say.
Oh, it's brief, and I don't have that much to say. But they showed a lot of Simone Biles with Jonathan Owens being dismissed to go and support her. He's leaving the dogs, and I'm like, who's going to let the dogs out? But I'm sure he figured that out. It was funny when he was closing his garage and had to do that little shimmy.
Yeah.
So that's when I know I've lost my step if I can't shimmy out of the garage.
Football Night Chicago.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
I don't know. The Simone Biles thing, I think that's kind of weird that it's such a big deal. I would assume they would let him go for that.
Yeah, easily.
They said, bring your playbook and You know, it's the Olympics. It's every 4 years, and it's not like she's just some random like alternate on. You know, she's
She's
big deal.
She's the GOAT, man. It's like
Exactly. So
I was surprised that she had some issues this year. Falling off the beam, but my wife was telling me that she's actually been injured most of this time, so kind of makes sense, I guess.
I mean, with it being the Olympics, like every 4 years, like it's hard to be at your peak. You know,
well, she's old.
And exactly, she's old for a gymnast. She's old for a Olympian, I guess you could say. So anyway, it was interesting they tied that in, but I feel like it's a non-story, or at least it should have been. But I'll be honest, I heard he was coming to the Bears. I was excited about the Simone Biles connection. You know, we need a little bit of our own like Taylor Swift this year. We got Simone Biles.
There's two more things there. One, I feel like he gets way too much flack for the whole situation that took place with him saying he didn't know who she was and all that. And then there was like a picture of him wearing one of her medals, and like people were trying to say that like he's, like she's submissive to him and all this other nonsense. The way that I see them interact, I don't see submission at all. And they seem like they just truly love and support one another, right? The other thing, though, that happened is apparently someone asked him if he misses Green Bay, and he's like, hell no.
Why would you?
Right?
Oh, I mean, what's he supposed to say, though?
Right.
But still, why would you? I'd much rather be in Chicago than Green Bay, other than the whole, winning football thing.
Yeah.
That could be changing.
Could be. Times are changing right now.
Yeah. The other thing, I mean, now that you brought up Green Bay, I was going to say something, but that's more for a regular Hallis Huddle episode. It's not Hard Knocks related.
Write that one down.
The NFC, they gave out, the CBS had something about where teams are in the NFC. And their 3 contenders are San Francisco, Detroit, and Green Bay. So it's a tough division the Bears are in, but we think they're up to the challenge.
I don't know. Nick Wright just said that he's predicting the Bears to win the Super Bowl. So,
I mean, I have them doing very well. Once you're in the playoff, you're in the playoff. So who knows?
Yeah, he did say that it kind of depends if Brendan Ayuk is now out of San Francisco. So,
I mean, they did in Hard Knocks bring it up. So I'll say one last thing, but the CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams comparison to me is a fair comparison. And then you look at the supporting cast of the Bears, much stronger, I would say, than what CJ Stroud had last year. So is it unreasonable to think they could be a wild card team or even, a division winner? Not really. And then once you're in it, I mean, Houston even won a game in the playoffs last year. So who's to say the Bears couldn't do something similar?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Stay with us, Hallis Huddlers.
Yeah, big things are brewing in the background.
Absolutely.
Justin and I are excited for a couple things here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build on that video and maybe add some tweaks to it because, I put starring Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, but like there's a lot of talent on this roster. And I feel like I feel like I'm the NFL network and keeping DJ Moore and Jalen Johnson out of the NFL's top 100. And I know it's voted by players, most like is the way it works, but like, I feel like I slighted them.
The Jalen Johnson doesn't make sense to me at all.
No.
The players should know better than that. I mean, the quarterback rating against Jalen Johnson was like lower than if you take a spike, like if you just spike the ball. I'm serious. Because if you spike it, you don't risk an interception. And he actually was picking the ball off last year. So yeah, that was a mistake. But hey, that's bulletin board material for him now.
Exactly.
So. And in complaining about it, he got to call out Aaron Rodgers too.
There you go. Yes.
He's like, that dude didn't even play, and he's on the list. So.
I did find that to be very strange also. 4 seconds, I think he lasted in the NFL last year.
It wasn't much.
I mean,
so all right.
Most women would complain about that. So.
So we'll be back for another Hallis Huddle episode soon, but every Tuesday after Hard Knocks, look for us, and we'll be breaking down what we see in the show.
Sounds good. Yeah, bear down, claws up.
Claws up.